Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing well. Now we will begin with the part 2, the writing part for the grade 10 elite. The 16th question is from lessons 1.6 and lesson 1.7. It's to solve system of linear equations from Cramer's rule and to find inverse of matrices. There are plenty of problems in this. Before we begin, let's know what exactly is Cramer's rule. Now, Cramer's rule is a very effective method to solve for the system of equations using matrices. Now, I'm sure if you're looking at, say system of equations, there are various other methods, the easy methods, calculator methods and stuff to solve it. But since over here it's in writing, let's stick to the Cramer's rule itself. Now look here, this is a equation. It can be say 3x plus 2y equals 5, and then we have one more equation minus 2x plus 3y equals 7, some random equations. Now here the coefficient matrix would be all the coefficients of x and y, so you need to write that. It'll be 3, 2, minus 2 and 3, and the resultant matrix, this over here, we will write it as 5 and 7. So this is very important. Call it M and N. It can be given other terms as well. Now whatever is the right side of the equal to, write it over here, and the coefficients are written over here. Now Cramer's rule states that if you want to say find the value of x, then this is not equal to, these are matrices, we can't put that equal to. But what we need to do is, if at all you want to find the value of x, you need to replace this matrix with the results 5 and 7, and the remaining 2 and 3 remains the same. We are just dealing with x now, right? So these two change. And what are we doing is we are finding the determinant of that and divided by the determinant of coefficient matrix. In the sense, it's 3 minus 2, 2, 3. So you replace the x values, because you want to find the x values, with whatever is in the right side of equal to, and divided by the determinant of the coefficients. So how do you find determinant? Now determinant is basically found out like this. You have to draw a cross line like this from left to right and then from right to left. So multiply these two. It is 3 times 3, that is 9, minus, what is this, 2 times minus 2 will be negative 4. And the answer over here is 9 plus 4, that is 13. That's the denominator, that is, say over here, that is the determinant of coefficient matrix, and we can write it as 13 here. And what happens above? Same thing, but the values are a bit different. It will be over here 15. 5 times 3 is 15, minus 7 times 2 is 14, so you're remaining with 1, so it's 1 by 13. That is the answer for x. So you don't get two values, it's just a single answer, that is the x value. Now same way you can find y value. All you need to do is, for the same matrix, instead of 2 and 3 you replace by these values and do the same thing. That is basically Cramer's rule, and that is how we can find the x and y values using matrices or by using Cramer's rule. Now here we have to solve two system of equations. I'll just walk through it, or let me solve this in detail for this one problem, and then we will, whenever we have such problems, the same method is used. So here the first coefficient matrix would be 5, whatever are the coefficients, 3, minus 6 and 4, that is equal to, what are the results over here? It's 15 and minus 29. So it'll be very helpful if you find the determinant of this. So the determinant of that would be, let me call this as C. Determinant means two straight lines. You just, this is matrix, right? If you just draw two straight lines, that would be finding determinant. Here it is 5 times 4 and then minus, okay, minus is there, minus sign is very important. 5 times 4 minus 6 times 3. So here the answer would be 20 minus and minus again, so plus 18. The answer is 38. So that is what? That is the coefficient 38. Now in order to find x, you need to swap these or replace these values by 15 and 29. So it will be 15 minus 29 minus 6, 4. So in order to find x value, you need to find the determinant of this divided by the determinant which we already found out. And now what's the answer? 15 times 4 is 60 minus, and again this minus minus it becomes plus, but this minus remains. 29 times 6, it'll be 30 times 6 is 180 minus 6, it'll be 174 divided by 38. Solve this up, you will have 60, if you deduct, it'll be 114 divided by 38. Now this is 1 time, 2 time, 3 times, so but it's minus, so it's minus 3. So the x value is minus 3. Now same way to find the y value, all you need to do is see the given coefficient matrix, right? Let's write x values, but since we have to find y, just replace the y values by this 15 and minus 29, and then you solve it divided by 38. You need to find the determinant over here, and that is how we can easily solve for the answer for y. So you can see here x value was minus 3, this is what we got. Now what about the y value? Same way you can do it over here and you'll get minus 5. So the x and y values are negative 3 and negative 5. So this is by Cramer's rule. There are calculator methods and everything, but for now, since it's writing, I will just stick to all writing methods, no shortcuts. But when I do the MCQ part, that is the first 15 questions, if you come across any matrices or Cramer's rule or anything, I'll tell you shortcut methods, calculator methods. Now over here there's another problem. Oh no, it's the same one. It's just check. So once you get the answers, if you put it back into the equation, both the sides must be equal. That is how we can check it. So this is one way. Now over here we have a real world problem. Donuts. Karen is ordering donuts for a class party. The box contains 2 dozen donuts. 2 dozen means 40. 1 dozen is 12. 2 dozen is 24. Some of which are plain and some of which are jelly filled. Okay, the plain donuts cost $0.5, whereas jelly filled cost 60 fills of $0.6. If the total cost is $12.6, use Cramer's rule to find how many jelly filled donuts Karen ordered. Now here the most important thing is writing the equations. See, one equation is clearly visible, that is 0.5, 0.6 and over here. But before that, I usually like to write the first equation, that is x and y. So what is x and what is y? I will take x as plain donuts and jelly filled as y. So x plus y is how much? It's 2 dozen, that is 12 times 2, it's 24. And then what else? The cost of x is 0.5x plus 0.6y is equal to how much? 12.6. Now let's analyze this. I'll just explain what exactly this means. See, now first of all, you do not know how many plain donuts are there. You do not know how many jelly filled are there. It can be random. Now here, though we do not know exactly how many are there, we just know the total number. It can be 3, 4, 5 for x and the other can be y. But we have no idea. But we know that each of them costs 0.5 and 0.6 respectively for plain and jelly filled. And the total cost is 12.6. Though we do not know how many actually donuts are there, since we know these values and the total cost was so much, and we have one more equation, at least 2 equations are required. I mean, for 2 variables, 2 equations are required. You can solve what is the actually number. From this, you can solve how many x, that is the plain donuts, and how many y, that is jelly filled. How do we do it? System of equations. Now we use the Cramer's rule. Over here, what is the coefficients? It's 1, 1, 0.5, 0.6, and then what do we have? 24 and 12.6. Find the determinant, swap these x values by 24 and 13.6 and so on. Now over here you don't need to do for x and y. You just need jelly filled, right? Jelly filled is y. So all you need to do is 1, 24, 0 0.5, 12.6. That's it. Divided by the coefficient, the determinant of the coefficient matrix. That'd be 0 0.6 minus 0 0.5, it's 0 0.1. So divided by 0 0.1, over here you need to find the determinant and easily solve it up. So we will directly jump to the answer. See over here, these are the equations. X plus y is 24 and 0.5x plus 0.6y is 12.6. And then you can easily write the coefficient matrix. And what is the other matrix? You consider it B or anything. So that was 24 and 12.6. So you can easily find the determinant of A, and then to find, this is to find X, but we do not need to do it. You can do that. And okay, this is very important. Y. Now this is determinant, then you substitute over here and find the Y value. So how many jelly filled are they? It is 6. And plain weight 18. So the answer is 6. Over here, another similar problem, I believe. The salary for each of the stars of a new movie is 5 million. So here the cost is told 5 million for the stars. So let's take the stars, the main actor in a movie, the main actor, the lead role players, they're the stars. They charge 5 million, they get paid. And the supporting roles, right? Supporting actors, they get 1 million. So this is the thing. Now here, the total cost is how much? The salaries paid for the actors and actresses for supporting and the main stars is 19 millions. Okay, this is all in terms of millions. So what else do we know? If the cast has how many? 7 members. 7 over here. X plus Y. I don't know how many X and Y, but if you add them, there are 7. So 5 millions for the lead players and 1 for the supporting characters. So now all you need to do is solve these. Just now we did, right? Cramer's rule, write the coefficients 1, 1, 5, 1. And then over here 7 and 19. See, these are the two equations. And then over here write the coefficient matrix. See, 1, 1, 5, 1, 7 and 19. And then you need to swap. Instead of 1 and 5, write 7 and 19. And then you find how many actors are there. There are 3. And did they ask us to find anything else? No. As you can see over here, they have asked, use Cramer's rule to find the number of stars in the movie. That's it. So only X is enough. If you find X, that's the answer. There are only 3 stars and the remaining is played by the supporting. Here we have to use determinants again. Refer to this particular example. Let's read it. A zoologist tagged a tiger with a GPS tracker so that he could determine the tiger's territory. After several days, the tiger's territory was triangular region. By using the coordinate of the vertices of the triangle, he uses matrices to determine the size of the tiger's territory. Okay, now you can see the coordinates are given. You need to find the area. Now with determinants, basically there is an easy formula to find the area. That is, area, as long as you know all the 3 coordinates, can be found out by, here you need to find the determinant. It's a straight line. Imagine this is x1 y1, x2 y2 and x3 y3. So all you need to do is x1 y1, x2 y2, x3 y3 and write 1 1 1. Find the determinant of this, and that is the area. Now here you can choose anything as x1 y1. It's your choice. You can choose this as x1 y1, this as x2 y2. Your answer will be the same. So this is the formula. We it's written as AB, but it's understood. It's one coordinate point, another coordinate point, and the other coordinate point. And here, see, they have given the coordinates, right? So 0 0 and 1. What is this? 4 12 and 1 and minus 2 and 8. And now you find the determinant. Now I will tell you another rule over here, how we can find determinants of 3 cross 3 matrices. It takes a long time to do it naturally, like how we do that cross thing. It takes a very, very long time. So this is the easiest of all methods. Obviously, there is the calculator method, but otherwise, this is a very easy method. So you need to write the determinant. So what was the determinant? Oh, yeah, it's 0, 0, 1. Then we have 4, 12, 1, and minus 2, 8, 1. So this is the determinant, right? You can't do it in just 3. You need to add 2. Why? Because you need to start from the leftmost. See, it's always like this and like this, right? From left to right. So draw a line from left to right. I'll draw in blue, this one. But since it's 3 cross 3, you need to draw these lines 3 times, like this and like this. Now let's see what would be over here. Now 1, 2, 3 is over. Then repeat this particular matrix back over here. It will be 0, 4, and minus 2. And then next one, it's 0, 12, and 8. Now this much is enough. Over here they have done extra, not required. Now this is one part, that's the left side. See, this left line is done. Now what is the right line? That is, you can either start from here or you can start from the last point. Okay, this one. Or what I do is I draw like this and then I just draw like this. 1, 2, 3. So now let us write. I'll write this at the right side, which we just now did. Okay, it is basically from right to left. Okay, from here to here, from here to here, from here to here. And that is, now how do you calculate them is multiply all in one row. So that will be 1 times 12 times minus 2. So it will be minus 24. Then you need to add it up with this. 8 times 1 times 0 is 0. And what happens over here? It's again 0. Why? Because 1, 0, multiply all of them, it's all 0. Then what about the left side? First, initially, it's 0, 0. So 0 plus 0. And over here we have 8 times 4 is 32. Times 1 is 32 itself plus 32. This minus the entire other thing. So what generally is done is they do it individually. So over here we got 32 and over here it's minus 24. Now subtract it off. It'll be 32 plus 24, that is 56. Now this 56 is not the area, it is the determinant value. But what was the actual formula? It is, I hope I have written this, it's half times, okay, that x1, y1, x2, y2 with 1, 1, 1. It's half times. So 56 is nearly there, but half times 56, that would be 28. So 28 meters squared must be the area. Let's quickly check the answer. Yes, it's 28. Since it was in kilometers mentioned in the question, it's square kilometers. So that is what we got. That's how we solve these problems. Now over here, archaeologists found whale bones at the coordinate. Over here, it's the same thing what we did just now. Over here, all you need to do is write the matrices. Now I'll just write that first, and then you need to write half and solve it up. It'll be 0, 3, 1, 4, 7, 1, 5, 9, 1. And then repeat this line over here, 0, 4, 5, and over here it is 3, 7, 9. And starting, you need to draw like these lines, and then from here you need to draw these. And then, you know, left side minus the right side, solve it up, you'll get the answer, that is 2 meters squared. Now, what if it's Cramer's rule by 3 cross 3? See, it's not difficult, but it takes a long time. That's the only issue. I hope this problem doesn't come, 3 cross 3 doesn't come for your exam. Generally, it's very lengthy, so they won't ask it. But anyways, let's look into it. See, this is a matrix, right? This is the coefficient matrix divided by the determinant. Sorry, first you need to write the coefficient matrix. This is not the coefficient, I'll tell you in a minute. See, the 4, 5, minus 6, 3, minus 2, 7, 7, minus 6, minus 8. This is the coefficient matrix. Find the determinant of this, always it's divided. Now, in order to find x, instead of these values, you replace it with these solutions paths. So over here, this changes to minus 14, this one changes to 47, and this one changes to 15, and this is how you get the above over here term. And then you find the matrices, like determinant. How do you find? You can repeat M, N, P, B, G, K, and draw lines like this, and they should match properly, and then you can easily solve it up. Here for y, just replace the y values with the other matrix. So this is how you get the answers. Now, if at all you have to do 3 cross 3, please remember the determinant. It'll be 3 cross 3. So write two more rows, draw the line, solve it up, and then whatever the coefficient matrix also determinant needs to be solved, and then divide the answers. You get the final answer. It's 5 comma minus 2 comma 4. Here you can even check the values over here, the check one. All you need to do is put the x values back into the equation y and z. All the three equations, put the values of the equation, and then both sides must match. Only if it is true values, both sides will match. Okay, this is to find Cramer's rule. We just now spoke about it. Please make sure you use that just now's method. Here you need to rearrange all the terms in terms of A, B, and C. If there is no C term, consider it to be 0. Here it will be 6 minus 7, 0, 2, 4 minus 3, minus 5 minus 3, 7. So that is one thing, and you get the answers. You can also use your calculator, mod phi 2, and solve them. But since they have clearly mentioned it's Cramer's rule, you need to make sure you use the Cramer's rule. Coefficient matrix, this matrix, and then solve it up. Here we have another problem. It is similar to the archaeologist problem. See, Marwan wants to build a triangular flower garden. To plan out his garden, he uses coordinate grid where each square represents 1 square meter. The coordinate of the vertices of his garden are given over here. Find the area. So now you can directly use the formula of half. Here it's minus 1, 7, 1, 2, 6, 1, 4, minus 3, 1. And you can easily solve it up. Also, if you're wondering, okay, this is the coordinate. Okay, you can find the sides by Pythagoras theorem, right? Now you have found all the sides, but there is a formula with the sides. So this is the formula. Now you can consider A to be anything, B to be anything, it will work. So just consider A one side, B on this side, and substitute everything, and you will get the area as well. So this is also possible. And for this particular problem, you just do the determinant method. It's easier and you get the answer. We now have an interesting problem here. A vendor sells small drink for $1.15, medium drink for $1.75, and a large drink for $2.25. During a week in which he sold twice as many small drinks as medium drinks, his sales were 2,238.75 for 1,385 drinks. Now here what have they told us? The total drinks were 1,385 in a week that were sold. So X plus Y plus Z, or you can take it as A, B, C, or say small drink S, M, and L, anything. So this is the first equation. Next one, the money is given, right? I can easily write 1.15x plus 1.75, that is 1.75y plus 2.25z. That is how much. The total money earned was 2238.75. Now lastly, they have told, see, now this is a 3 variable equation. You cannot solve without 3 variables. Lastly, they have told he sold twice as many small drinks as medium drinks. So if you're considering small drinks, it'll be 2 times medium drinks or 2 times y. Generally, students get confused with x is equal to 2y or 2x is equal to y. So let's look over here. He sold twice as many small drinks as medium drinks. So now consider small drinks, x. What is it equal to? There were 2 times small drinks as many as medium drinks. That means if medium drinks is y, 2 times y would be small drinks. So there were more small drinks than medium drinks. So 2 times y, 2 times medium drink would make small drinks. So this is the equation. And now here we can't write the last equation like this. We have to write x minus 2y plus 0z is equal to 0. Now we have 3 equations we can use. Cramer's rule and solve it up. So you can use over here, see these are the three equations. You need to rearrange the last one. And then if we solve this up, we get 650, medium as 325 and large as 410. Now the vendor decides to increase the price for small drinks to 1.25. Okay, so now from this 1.15 it became 1.25. Then what happened? The next week he sold 140 fewer small drinks. So initially it was how much? 650, right? It became less by 140. So this becomes 510 drinks in a week, not 650 anymore. But there was increase in medium drinks. See, 125 more drinks medium. So it'll be 450 drinks. And lastly, 35 more large drinks. So this became more by 35. So it's 445. So this is all the answers we got. And now calculate his sale for that week. So these are the new values of X, Y, and Z. Now we know how much is the cost. So this just multiplied by 1.25 plus this 450 multiplied by 1.75 plus 2.25 times 445. Add this all up. 510 multiplied by 1.25 plus 1.75 times 450 plus 2.25 times 445. So put this properly in the calculator. You can put this as it is, multiply plus everything, and then you will get this as the answer B. It will be 2426.25. Now if you compare really, though he got a loss in the small drinks because less were sold, his total revenue increased. So was raising the price of the small drink a good business move? Explain. Yes, it was a good business move because see now everyone were thinking, okay, now 1.25x, right? 1.25 for the small drink. Just by 50 fills you can get 1.75. So many move towards the medium drink and he earned more revenue, to be honest. So it was a good move over here. Although small drinks were less sold, the other two were more and he got more profit. So that is the answer. We was just analyzing and solving. Same way, this is another problem. Badriya is preparing a colored frosting for a cake. For the right shade of purple, she needs 25 milliliters of 44% concentration food coloring. Okay, so 25 milliliters of 44%. Okay, the store has a 25% red and 50% blue concentration of food coloring. Now here, red coloring and blue coloring, you can take this as X and Y. So if we write 25% of X plus 50% of Y, okay, let's see what is it equal to. How many milliliters each of blue food coloring and red food coloring should be mixed to make the necessary amount of purple food coloring? See, they have already told us to get the right shading, 44% concentration is required. Now we have 25% of red and 50% of blue. When you add this up, first of all, how much is the total you need? You need 25 milliliters multiplied by what is the percentage? It should be 44%. Just multiply this, you'll get the answer. But there is one more thing. When you add X plus Y, what must be the answer? When you add it, you must get 25, right? They've clearly mentioned 25 milliliters. So these are the two equations. Let's quickly see them. So X plus Y is 25. Very easily mentioned. Why? Because when you add those both, this is what is required. But the other one is 25%, that's 0.25 X plus 50% Y will be 44% of 25, but I wrote 25 first, it's fine. Actually, 50% of Y, 44% of 25, that would be the answer. These are the two equations. Once the both equations are known, it is very easy to solve. You can use the Cramer's rule and solve it up. And to check your answers, you can use the calculator, simultaneous equations. I'll show you the calculator checking method. All you need to do is go to mode, equation is phi, and this is only two variables, so it's 1. Look, this resembles that form. And now type the coefficients. It's 1, 1, and equal to, what is it? 25. And over here we have 25%, and over here 50%. Shift and this symbol gives you the percent. And lastly, we have 25 times 44%. Just write it as it is, it will calculate it for you. The answer is 6 and 19. So use the Cramer's rule and solve all these problems and check your answers with the calculator. Okay, over here there is no solution. Let's look into this problem. If you use Cramer's rule, you get undefined answer. Why? Because looking at the equations, I can see the slopes are same and the y-intercepts are different. So if I write this in slope-intercept form, it's going to be y is equal to x plus 4, y is equal to x minus 4. All I did is take x to the other side. Slope is 1 and 1. So here the first equation, if I'm going to draw this at 4, I'll have 1. The line is like that. Another one is having minus 4, same slope. They are parallel lines. They will never touch each other. It's just that their intercepts are different. So you will never have an intersecting point. Only when lines intersect, that is the solution point. Now if you draw these two graphs, at this particular point, they are intersecting each other. That's the solution. So this doesn't have. And also you can try it from the matrix. I mean the determinant. Let's look over here. It's minus 1, 1, minus 1, 1. Let's find the matrix determinant. Sorry, I'm getting confused. It's minus 1 times 1 is minus 1, minus of, again, minus 1 times 1 is 1. So here what happens is it's negative 1 plus 1, 0. So whenever the determinant value is 0, what happens is it becomes undefined when you solve, because you have divided by, one determinant divided by the determinant of this, right? This is 0. When you divide anything by 0, it's undefined. So therefore, you need to remember, whenever you have a determinant of 0, there is no solution. You can't solve it up. That's the thing. All these problems do not have a determinant of 0, so you can solve the answer. So these are the answers. Here also, you can do the determinant is, 0, or you can also write it in slope-intercept form. It's y is equal to x plus 5. And over here it will be 2y is equal to 2x plus 8. But then divide throughout by 2, you're going to get y is equal to x plus 4. Now look at this. It's very, very close. If this is 5 and this is 4, they are very close, but they are parallel to each other. They will never touch each other. So that's how we solve those problems. Here there are plenty of same problems. Use the Cramer's rule and solve them up. And we are at the last type of problems. The diagram shows the annual percent migration between a city and its suburb. Now, city is obviously city where, lots of buildings, huge places, very busy places, okay? Whereas suburbs, it's not like the countryside. Country, far away, no. Suburbs is in between, So generally we have city, suburbs, and countryside, right? Suburb is between, it's like residential places or something like that. There is, crowd, but not like city and not like a village, where it's very less population, not like that. There is medium amount of population. So here you can see 95% are staying in the city, 3% from suburb move to city, and from 5% from the city they move to suburbs. And total 97% stay in the suburb. So the first question over here is write a matrix to represent the transition in city population and suburb population. Here, this is the matrix. How do you write it? See here. City. Let's first think of city and city. Now there is 95%, that is 0.95 in the city, right? But how much are going away, or coming in to city, all right, moving into the city? It's 3%, that's 0.03. Whereas, how much are moving away? It is 0.05. And this last column over here, will be for this. So you started with the city population, right? You ended with the suburb population. This is 0.97. So this is basically suburb details, suburbs. And this is basically 97% stay in the suburbs as of now. And over here they have given another type of problem, the same one, option B. There are currently 16,275 people living in the city and 70,552 living in the suburb. Assuming that the trend continues, predict the number of people who live in the suburb next year. If the migrating, the same thing continues, what's gonna be the values for next year? Now, from this matrix itself, if you just multiply it with what are the values? 16,275 live in the city. So the first one we are taken as city, right? Say 0.95. Over there, right? 16,275. And where is the suburb? It's 0.97. Over here, right? The other value. Just multiply them and you will get the answer. So when you multiply, you get 17,839 for suburb. So they just asked for suburbs. Next year, from how much it was currently, it was 70,552. There'll be 17,839 population. And lastly, you need to find the people who lived last year. That's from the inverse. So what you basically do is find the determinant of this matrix, and once you found the determinant, you need to write the inverse. So the inverse formula is like this. So imagine you have A, B, C, D, okay, as the matrix. So the inverse is found out by 1 by determinant of this particular matrix. So determinant is written over here, and whatever there was A, that swaps to B, D, sorry, B becomes A and A becomes D. They swap each other. And then the remaining two terms, they are same in their position. B becomes B only, but it's minus. And lastly, minus C. This is how we get the determinant. Now substitute over here, you will get the values and directly solve them up. Now, you need to put over here as 0.95 and everything, find the determinant. And then over here, whatever determinant you get, just multiply over here, they simplify. And over here, we are getting the answers as, you can see here, 16,587.16. So you approximated 16,587 and 70,240. We have all the answers over here noted. You can directly solve it by yourself and check for the answers. And this is again another similar problem. Please do try it by yourself, just like what we have done a while ago, and then check for the answers. A quick reminder, see this 88% and 35, they must be in one of the edges. So here, since it's 35 over here written, it's all about CDs at the beginning. Then digital players, switching to digital players, that is MP3 is at the corner end. So this is how it is. And then if you want to find, say after 1 year, just make this equal to whatever the answers you have, and then whatever the values are given. See over here, they have clearly mentioned 17,252 and 7,748. You need to just equate and multiply those matrices to solve. After multiplying, just refer the previous problem, and then you find the inverse over here clearly mentioned. So that is the end of the question 16. If you have any doubts, any questions, please post them in the comments. I'll try to get back to you very soon. Question 17 is about parabolas. To be very honest, this topic is not very straightforward. You need to practice many problems and then you'll get a hang of it. You're very lucky that you have same type of questions. Like if you understand one question thoroughly, it's the same concept repeated. Now, before starting this problem, let's look at the standard forms of parabola. Now, you might have seen slight variations as well, but this is generally how it is. Parabola can be either upwards or downwards, opening up or down, but both of them open up vertically up or down. Whereas if it's horizontal opening, it's another form. Now, this is generally given as x is equal to y squared, and y is equal to x squared means it opens upwards or downwards. Now, the standard form, I personally don't use this as the standard form. I mean, the same one, but I write it like this. I always write 4p to the left And then if it is y over here, I write y minus, see y, you must remember the vertex. Vertex is what? H and k, right? H is always denoting the x-axis, k is denoting the y-axis. This y can be only subtracted by something related to y-axis, so it's k. You can't write a h over here. This is equal to the other side, now y x square, right? X minus h the whole square. So this is how I write the standard form, because this is very easy. Whenever I write the standard form, I start with, if I'm writing like this form, it'll be 4p to the left. Now here it's x is equal to y squared. Don't think 4p is towards y. No, it's always to the power 1. The other side will be power 2. So what I have to do is, which is power 1? It's x minus h. That is equal to, what is power 2? It's y minus k the whole square. So this is how I write the standard form, and this is what I feel will be easier, but you stick to which you are comfortable with, okay? And the vertex is always h and k. Focus is always inside wherever it's opening, right? It's inside the parabola, but not at the vertex, near to the vertex. Always remember one important thing. You should understand the graph how it is, because otherwise this problem, it's very, very difficult. Now, looking at the equation, let's just remove everything. Look over here. If this was minus sign, then I know y is squared. Just ignore all the other parts. Look at y. Y is squared. X is not squared. And this is having a negative sign. Then it opens up left side like this. If this was positive, then it would be right side. Same thing here. Just focus on x squared. Sorry, this is, yes, x squared. And over here we have y. So it is y is equal to x squared. Now, if it is positive, it opens upwards. Negative means it goes down. So here in this vertex is these points, right? The focus sort of points. If it's vertically up or down, if it's going up, the focus will be up. If it's down, focus will be downwards, inside the vertex. Here, if it's right side, it will be at the right, left side will be at the left. So the x value over here for the focus and the vertex is same. See, h and h is same. Whereas that k value, y-axis value varies. Even over here. But here the y value is the same because it's always on the same. But the x value, initially this was x and this is x2. So focus x and vertex x values are different. So that's why we have h and h plus p. P is over here, right? That value. So I hope you are thorough with the basics of parabola. If you know the basics of parabola, we can solve these problems. I will solve two problems. One will be, so now this is x is equal to y square, and one more will be y is equal to x square. Both the different type. And then all are the same repetition. Here we have to write the equation for the line tangent to x is equal to y squared plus 3 at this particular point. Now first of all, looking at the equation, x and y is being squared. I know it's going to be like this or like this. It's opening up horizontally, not vertically, because y is squared. Now, which side does it exactly go to? It goes to the right side. Why? Because it's positive over here. Look, it's positive. Now, this x is positive. That's why we can tell it's opening right side. Now, we need to find vertex. We need to find foci. And then there is a point 7,2. I don't know where it is. We need to see where that point lies. And then we need to solve the tangent line. Long procedure, right? Let's do one by one. First, let's get it in the standard form. I saw your other problems. You're very lucky that all the EoT problems are already in standard form, so you might get it in standard form itself. But this one, let's do it. So look here. Focus on the square. If you have just square, then leave it alone. That's basically only one term. But if you have something like this, y plus 2 the whole square, then this is the k value. But over here, if you see, there is nothing. So it's only y square. So if it's only y square, how do we write it? Now, y minus 0 is what I can do. Y minus 0 equals this plus 3. I'll take it to the other side. It becomes x minus 3. Okay, this is a term. Now here the standard form, if you remember, it was 4p equals, for this the standard form is x minus h equals y minus k the whole square. I hope you remember this. This is the standard form. Now, generally, if you see the previous slide, the standard form has y minus k whole square at first side. But I write the other way around. It's fine. Even this is the absolutely correct. You can follow this as well. See now, because I always write the power 1 first, and whatever is left will have 4k. The square to the right. So that's how I follow. Now then, next over here, what you can do is, see, 4p is supposed to be over here. Is there any number here? Nothing, right? So that means it's 1. Okay. So now look over here, we'll write the vertex. What is the vertex value? It's 3. See, remember the standard form is x minus h. So as long there is x minus 3, the x value for vertex is just 3. Okay, h. Vertex is h comma k, right? So now over here we have 3 and minus 0, it is 0. That's a 3, 0 is the vertex. Now if at all it was positive 3, then you have to write over here minus 3. Why? Because it's supposed to be minus. So just change the sign. You have to write 2 minuses. But remember, if it is plus, you write minus here. If it is minus, you write plus here. That's it. The next thing is focus points, right? What are the focus points? Where is the focus here? Focus is somewhere over here. So now this vertex is 3, 0. What I can tell about this focus, is the x value same? Is it moving along the x-axis? So this is the x-axis and the y-axis is vertical line. Is it moving along the x-axis? Yes, from here to here it's jumped. This is 3, so it must be more than 3 no matter what. But what is this? Y 0, right? That is on the same line. So this is also 0. So now this 0, 1, 2, 3, 3, 0 and something else, 0. So I know this is 0 itself. But how do we find the x value? For that, you need to know the k value, because over here, the formula is h plus k, comma k. Sorry, h plus p, not the k value. I'm so sorry, it's h plus p. Okay. See this 4p, right? That one. So now let's find the p. 4p is equal to how much? There's nothing over here. That means it's 1. P is 1/4 or it's a quarter. So 1/4, or you can write it as 0.25. So that's the thing. And what else now? If I know p, I can solve for focus. Focus is equal to, say h is 3. 3 plus 0.25 is 3.25, 0, because k value doesn't change. So this is the focus. Now we got vertex, we got focus. What next? This is done. Let's look where is 7,2. 7,2 is the point given to us, right? The tangent point. So here, this is 3, this is 4, and this is 0. So 2 means up and 7. Somewhere over here it will be there. Imagine it's over there. Now what you need to do is you need to find the tangent line, right? The focus has the property wherever this is passing by. Okay, it won't be so bad. Somewhere over here, okay? Now, this is not accurate line, but this tangent will pass like that. So, this is the focus, isn't it? So now over here, if you're thinking why it's blank, because we had to find the p value and we found out it's 3.25. Now here, this distance is there, right? And this distance of the tangent line are always same. If this is distance d, this is also distance d. So here, we know this focus point dimensions, I mean the coordinates x and y. Over here we know 7,2 as well. So what we can do is we can find the distance here, and then from this distance we can find the other point. So what I do is write the distance formula. D is equal to x2 minus x1 the whole square plus y2 minus y1 the whole square. We can now substitute, but what are we going to substitute? We are going to substitute the focus point. Say this is x1, y1, okay, and this can be x2, y2. You can take other way around, you'll get the same answer. Now first x2 minus x1. So x2 is 7 minus 3.25 the whole square plus y2 is basically 2 minus 0 the whole square. Okay, this is it. Now you put this in the calculator and solve it up. Let's take our calculators. I've typed this out in the calculator. Please use brackets properly. 7 minus 3.25 squared plus 2 squared. And 2 minus 0 will be 2, so 2 squared. The answer is 4.25. Now that's the distance over here, these two distances, right? 4.25 unit. Now here we know this is the focus, right? So if we go back the x coordinates back over here, that is basically just subtract this 3.25 with 4.25, you're going to reach a point. That will be the other point of the tangent line. So now this part is all about analyzing, understanding this. So then I will just take this focus points. It was 3.25 comma 0. No matter what the focus, this point will have the same y, 0 only. But here, this is going to be 3.25 minus 4.25. That's negative 1 comma 0. So now we can tell the endpoints on the tangent over here. This, not endpoints exactly of the tangent line, but the 2 points of the tangent line would be negative 1 comma 0 and 7 comma 2. First you have to find all the vertex, focus, and then you have to find the distance from the focus to the given point, and then from that distance we can interpret where exactly is the other point. So we got 2 points on the tangent line now. So before we continue, I hope you know what exactly is a tangent line. It touches only one point and it goes on. Okay, so it's like that. So if I have a tangent, it goes somewhere like this. Okay, it just goes over there. One point will touch, and that point we know. It's very hard to find another point on the tangent, but since it's focus, related to focus, okay, this is not vertex, it should be over here. This is the focus, right? See, focus will be equidistant to both the points. That's why it is. Let us see some clear pictures over here. You can see this is the thing. This is the focus, which is not exactly vertex, it's inside the vertex from here to here, and that to another point on the tangent, that's say point A, is equal, so this distance is. That's how we find these 2 points. Now we found those 2 points. Let us get that back. Now let's write the equation of the tangent line. That is what we are solving. We need to find the equation of the tangent line, but we are not directly writing the equation. First, let us write, say, the details like the slope. After finding the slope, we will do the other parts. So now let's find the slope. How do we find it? Let's write the formula for slope. M is equal to y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. Now here these are the 2 points. So it's up to you to choose which is x1, y1. You can choose anything. And over here it's x2, y2. If I choose this as x1, this will be y1. Other one will be x2, y2. Now just substitute over here. It's 2 minus 0 divided by 7 minus of minus 1. That is basically 2 divided by, it will be plus. So 7 plus 1 is 8. That is 1 by 4. So that is the slope. The slope is 1/4. Now we have the 2 points. We have the slope. How do we write the equation? That is from this formula over here. It is y minus y1 equals m into x minus x1. I hope you remember these formulas. Now just substitute. Here, don't substitute the other point. Generally, we take the given point. So this is x1, y1. Okay. So it's minus 2. M is 1/4 or 0.25 into x minus x1 is 7. So this is it. Now once we have so much, simplify how much you can. Basically this 2 goes to the other side. We find our final form as y is equal to mx plus b. This is how we need to write. So simplify the right side first. This will be y minus 2 over here, and the right side is 1/4 x minus 7 by 4. Take this 2 to the other side, it will be y is equal to 1/4 x minus 7/4 plus 2. How can you write 2 as 8 by 4, right? In terms of with the fraction 4, it will be 8 by 4. This is 2. Or just use your calculator. So it's 1/4 x. The answer is 1/4 plus 1/4. Why? 1/4 x plus 1/4, because 1/4 is down, 8 minus 7 would be positive 1, and that is the equation. This is the equation of the tangent line. It is quarter, that is 0.25x plus 0.25, or 1/4 x plus 1/4. Let's look into the final answer. See over here, this is how we found out the next point, that was minus 1 comma 0, and then finally the equation of the line, that is over here, x by 4 is 1/4 x plus 1/4 from this one. So here we find a and c, and then basically we find the tangent. When we have 2 points on the tangent line, we can easily get the equation. So that's how we solve this particular problem. And let's look into the next one. Wait, let's see. Yes, let's do this one, because the last problem what we did was x is equal to y squared. Now it's other way around. This one is over here, x squared equals y, or it's y equals x squared. So how do we start solving it? First, let's write the standard form of the parabola for this particular thing. It'll be 4k into y minus k equals x minus h the whole square. This is the standard form. See, I always write 4k first, this, and the power always to the right side. You can follow this, or you can stick to this itself. But here it's already in the standard form, so you don't have any problem. See, 4k is minus half. Y minus 3 equals x plus 7 the whole square. What is the vertex value? Vertex is h comma k, that is, see now over here this is plus 7, means you should take minus 7 comma, what is k? It is directly 3. Oh, if it's minus, you directly take it positive 3, but if it is positive 7, you take minus 3. Now what is focus? Focus cannot be found directly now. First, let's analyze what sort of a diagram this is. The x squared is at the right, y is to the left, and it is positive or negative, it's negative. So it will be opening up downwards like this. It's vertical because y is equal to x squared is vertically opening up or down, but since it's minus, it goes down. So now the focus over here is how much? Minus 7 comma 3. And the focus over here will be, the vertex is known, focus will be down. The x value will remain the same, it doesn't change, but the y value now will be 3 plus k. Now what is the k value? 4k equals minus half, so k is equal to negative 1 by 8. So you need to add negative 1 by 8. This negative 1 by 8 is 0.125, I believe. Yeah, it's minus. So plus minus becomes minus. So you need to subtract 0.125 from this. Okay, so it'll be, focus will be minus 7 comma 2.875. Just use the calculator for this. So here, this is the focus. Now we know the focus, this point. What is the given tangent value? This is 7 comma 3, this is minus 7 comma 2.875. We have minus 5 and minus 5. That means minus 5 somewhere over here, right, and down. So if you extend, it will be somewhere over here. This is the tangent here, minus 5 comma minus 5. Now this is the line, and then it will be upwards. The tangent will go like this, isn't it? It will go something like this. So let's find this distance and then use that distance to find other point on the tangent. So the distance is given as x2 minus x1 the whole square plus y2 minus y1 the whole square. This is just for understanding. If you directly also do it, you will get the answers, but it's better to understand and solve it up. Now what happens over here is we need to know what is x. We'll take this as x1, y1, the given one as x2, y2. It's up to you. It's fine to take any values. Here it is minus 5 minus, see, minus 5 minus of minus 7 will be plus 7. I'll directly write it. Plus, what is this over here? Minus 5 minus 2.875 the whole square. Now use the calculator and we will solve this up. I've put this in the calculator. It's negative 5 plus 7 the whole square plus negative 5 negative 2.85 the whole square. The answer is 8.125. So the distance is 8.125 units. Now this is 8.125, so the other point will be more above, right? See over here. So this distance is 8. So how would we find that point? If focus is negative 7 and positive 2.875, we have to just add 8 to the x-axis. That's it. See, because, sorry, not 8 to the x-axis, to the y-axis. I'm sorry. You need to add this 8.125 to this y, right? From year to year. This is the y-axis, not x-axis. So the other point, the end point, you can tell, or the other point of the tangent would be x value is same, minus 7. This varies. See, even the vertex, minus 7, this all will lie on the same plane. So from here, even if you don't understand the figure, whichever is the same will be the same. The other side, you just add that value, the distance. When you add it up over here, what's going to happen? It's 2.85 plus 1.5. It's 3. 3 plus 8 is 11. So this must be the answer. Just use calculator and add them up. You'll get this. Now we have the 2 points of the tangent. It is minus 7, 11, and we have the given point minus 5 and minus 5. So m is equal to y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. So substitute over here, minus 5 minus 11 divided by minus 5 plus 7. The answers are minus 16 divided by positive 2, it's minus 8. So another formula is y minus y1 equals m into x minus x1. In this, only the given point is considered. Okay, this is x1, y1 now. Always, for the last form, to write the equation of the tangent line, since it's given, you can even write this, it's fine, the answer is correct, but the values will differ, so it's better to write this one itself. So y minus of minus 5 will be plus 5 is equal to m is minus 8 times x plus 5. It will be y is equal to minus 8x minus 40, and this 5 to the other side will be minus 5. Y is equal to minus 8x minus 45 is the answer. Let's check the answer. So yes, that distance we got same. That is the correct answer, minus 8x minus 45. So this is how we solve it. And over here in these problems, you can see the steps are given. First, you need to write the vertex, a standard form. Find the vertex, find the foci, find the p-value. 4p is equal to, what is the coefficient? 1 by 5th. Then you find the distance. Even you can do it directly from focus to this point. Directly find the distance. Once you find this distance, you see now, adding or subtracting varies. I just realized it depends on the equation. It'll be either add or subtract. If it goes down or the left, you have to subtract. See now, let's see this one. It's been subtracted. The distance to the changing side only. See, the 0 is constant. So over here also 0, y-axis does not change. All y-axis values are same. Only this x-axis is being added or subtracted by the distance. Then once you find this, you find the slope from this and the given point. And after you find the slope, what you do is you find the equation. So this is the thing. There are other hints as well from the given equation, from this tangent, you can get it. But I've tried to keep it as simple as possible, and it's not a simple problem. So you need to know whatever is being told. And this is the method. Please do solve the problems by yourselves. The same method is carried over here, all the problems. And let's see over here also, it's the same thing, just the same. And over here, the last one. Okay, let's just look into the last one for a minute. It's undefined here. So let's just analyze the given equation. We have negative 4 comma x. So this is 4p. X is equal to y plus 5 the whole square. Now the h value is what? Minus 0 here. So hk vertex, it is 0 comma 5. No, it's minus pi. I'm sorry. It's 0 comma minus pi. And what is the focus? Focus will be, since this is x is equal to y square and it's negative, it will be opening up to the left side. Okay. This is the vertex. Focus will be, h varies over here. H plus p comma k. So k value is the same. But what about the, once again, k value is not 0. I've written wrong here. It's minus 5. That remains the same. What is the p value? P value is minus 4 is equal to 4p. So take it to the other side. P will be equal to negative 1. So this is negative 1. It will be h minus 1. It will be minus 1. This is the focus. This is the vertex. Let's just check. Yes, you can see vertex, focus. And okay, now looking at this, you can see that the tangent is on the vertex. This is the tangent line. Now you don't need to continue further. Now, if you really understand all the parabola, all the conic sections, you will know that the vertex is the turning point. And what is the tangent over there? It's always a straight line. If it is like this, it will be a flat line. You don't need to find anything. Here you can just tell the equation for the tangent line is x is equal to, what is the x-axis? 0. This is it. That is the answer. Now, if your teacher reads this, they must give you the full marks because you know the problem thoroughly and you have directly written the answer. There's nothing wrong with it. But let's understand, even if you do the distance, see over here, distance is done, it is 1. And now you will get back the other point as the same point. Look, it's the same thing. It won't be any other point because whatever the focus, it will only be towards this point, right? You will always be getting the same point and you can't find the slope of the same point. It's undefined. So that's why you realize this vertex is having the tangent, and whenever the vertex is having a tangent, it will be the vertical line or a horizontal line. In this case, since it's opening like this horizontally, it is a vertical line at x is equal to 0. So that's it. X is equal to 0 is the line over here. Now that's how we can do it, but generally you might get the other type where you are to solve, but if it's like this, it's a very easy one. You can just do a little bit and you can tell, since the vertex and the given point of tangent is on the same line, that means the tangent is on the vertex. So it'll either be a vertical or horizontal. Since our given parabola is opening left side horizontally, it can only be a vertical line at x is equal to 0. What is the x value? 0, right? So at that point, it must be a vertical line. It can't be anywhere else. So that's how we solve this particular problem, and that's the end of this question 17. It's a bit tricky one, so please do practice more problems. And if you have any doubts, please post them in the comments, and I'll try to get back to you very soon. We move on to the question 18, that is about tangent lines, velocity, and derivatives. Here we have a real world problem. A pitch is struck by a bat with a mass of m kilograms. Suppose the initial speed of the ball after being struck is given by speed with respect to mass is 185 m minus 15 divided by m plus 0.15. Now, if you know baseball, there is a pitch that is a ball being thrown at the bat, and the batter hits the ball. That's how it works. So the bat weight matters because as the weight of the bat is increasing, you can see the speed after a certain level, plateaus in the sense becomes same. But for the initial values, say for example, you have 0.5 kilograms of mass for the bat. The speed is around this, whereas 1 kg is over here. It varies. Now, what did they ask us? Find an equation for instantaneous rate of change for the initial speed of the ball. I hope you remember this formula. Speed, when derived is by d by dx. What do you get? You get the velocity, rate of change basically. So now over here, this is the speed equation, right? If you derive it, what should you get? You will get the velocity, or that is instantaneous rate of change. So how do you derive this? Since it's quotient rule. There is a term above in the numerator and in the denominator. We have to recall the formula u divided by v. When you derive it, it becomes down will be v square, up above will be u dash v minus uv dash. Before solving this, let us write the given. What is the given? I mean, like in u and v terms, u is equal to 185 m minus 15. V is basically m plus 0.15. Derivative of u is just 185, isn't it? Why? Because when you have x to the power 1 or m to the power 1, it is 1 itself. The derivation, say x power 1, is 1. Whereas if it was derivation of x square, it becomes the power rule, 2 comes down to x, and this reduces by 1. Even over here, power rule is used. 1 comes down, it's 1. X 1 minus 1 is 0, and x to the power 0 is 1. So it's only 1 remains. And then imagine there's a constant term, d by dx of minus 5. Constants are always 0. So here, therefore, minus 15 becomes 0. It's basically minus 0. This is it. And what about v dash? V dash is just 1. But because m is derivative 1, this is 0. So now let's derive it. The derivation of speed, that is basically velocity of with respect to the mass m. The variable over here is m, that's why we write it m. Now what happens? U dash. What is u dash? It's just 185, so you can just write 185. And what is next? V. What is v value? It is m plus 0.15 minus, what is u then? U is 185 m minus 15, and lastly what do we have? V dash is multiplied by 1. This whole thing divided by v squared, that is m plus we have 0.15. So this is how we substitute. Now this is not done, we can simplify further. The velocity, I'll just write velocity because derivation of speed is velocity, is multiply this 185 inside, and 1 inside will be the same thing, so it'll be 185 m. Now what is 0.15 times 185? It'll be a small number, it'll be less than 50, so we'll just leave it for now, we'll write it later. And there is minus 185 m, and this minus is multiplied here, and over here this becomes plus 15 divided by m plus 0.15. Now this cancels with this, so you're remaining with a number and 15. When you add it up, it's gonna be some value. Let's just look into the answer directly. So that number added with 15 is 42.75. That means it's 27.75 here. And then over here I forgot to write the square, which is very important, v square. So this is the derivative. Now that's it. You have to use the quotient rule and derive the problem. And over here we get, this is the instantaneous rate of change. And now the second part is use a calculator to graph the equation you found in part A. So now whatever you just now found over here, we can graph it. Now there are various ways to graph it. Let's do the table method. All I'll do is mod 7 for table and type this equation over here, 42.75 divided by m is written as alpha x plus 0.15, and close the bracket and square it up. And now what you do is press equal to, now ignore this part. Now look at this one over here. They have taken mass of 0 to 2. So let's start with 0, end at 2, because they are also told in the question from 0 to 2. And what step let's take? Let's take step of 0.5, and the values are over here. We can see here it starts with 1900 at 0. That means it's very, very high. And then it comes down at 0.5. It's reduced incredibly. That's only 100. So at 0.5 somewhere over here, I think so this is 0.5, will be 100. Then you can see at 1 it's very less, 32. And then as it goes down, nears to very, very, very low value. So this is the correct graph. Now what's happening here? As the mass was increasing, the speed increased, right? But here it's other way around. As mass increases, the velocity reduces. See, the instantaneous rate of change of initial speed of ball decreases drastically as the mass of the bat increases. So this is what we understand for the mass 0 to 2. And if the mass of the bat varies inversely with the hitter's control, okay, of the swing, is it wise to use a bat that weighs 1.05 kilograms rather than a bat weighs 0.8 kilograms? Explain your reasoning. Now, before looking at the answer, I think it's always the lower mass, because we saw here, see, the velocity reduces drastically. Over here, there is a speed increase, yes, but it's very less. We are talking about 0.8 and 1.05. So 1.05 somewhere over here. The speed, yes, it's increased, but very little. But look over here. This is 1. So 0.8 somewhere over here, and 1 point something. It's a big fall, because you saw the values. It's in 1,000. The fall is much, much bigger than what you can see over here. So here what they are doing is they're finding at 0 point, see the equation you found out, right? The derived equation for the instantaneous velocity. From the graph also you can find it out. At 0.8, what's the value? And at 1.05, what's the value? You can see the velocity is 47 and 29. So this suggests instantaneous rate of change for the initial speed, that's the velocity. The ball is higher with a lighter bat. Now the speed over here, yes, although heavier bat will have a greater speed, but it's not wise to use it, because the reduction cannot be compensated by just a small increase. So this is why it's better to go with the smaller bat. And over here they have clearly mentioned the hitter's control of the swing. It's inversely. So as mass increases, it reduces, right? So that's the thing. Now, if at all these two values were very close to each other, and this was more, see over here 0.8 over here and 1.05 over here. If this was big increase, then you should have told higher mass, but it's other way around over here. So that's how we solve that problem. Now we have some quotient rule problems. We have just now solved the quotient rule. Let me do this one. It might seem a little difficult because these are all simple. Now here, just remember the rule. U by V, the derivative of it is U dash V minus UV dash divided by V squared. Now what is U? U is Q to the power 4 plus 2Q squared plus 3. And V is Q cube minus 2. And let's derive U dash. U dash means it'll be du by dx. Now so we are q, so du by dq. But anyways, just derive it. It'll be power rule 4q to the power 3. So what happens is whatever is the power comes down, and this reduces by 1, 4q cube plus. Now this 2 comes down and multiplies with this 2. So 2 times 2 is 4q only. Why? Because 2 minus 1 is 1. And 3 becomes a constant, it dissolves, it's not there. And what about V dash? This is 3q squared, that's it, and minus 2 goes off. Now sometimes if you're getting confused with q and all, you can just rewrite this question. Instead of q, you can write it as x to the power 4 plus 2x squared plus 3. You just change it to x, that is also fine. Okay, as long as you understand whichever you're comfortable with, just go with it. Okay, so you can change it like this and solve. Over here it will be mass of m of x. Fine, your answer will be correct. But what you can do is finally whatever the answer is there in terms of x, right, put it back to q. I will show in a while. Now see, now we have all the values of u dash, v dash. So we can use the formula now. What is u dash? It is 4 times q to the power 3, and we have plus 4q. What about v? So multiply this with v, that is q to the power 3 minus z, minus u is again q to the power 4 plus 2q squared plus 3 multiplied with v dash is 3q squared divided by, what is v? Q cubed minus 2 the whole square. Now we have to multiply the above terms and try to simplify as much as possible. So multiply this, and even minus 2 both the sides. So it's going to be a long one. It'll be 4 q to the power 6 plus 4 q to the power 4 minus 8 q to the power 3 minus 8q. And what about over here? It's only a single term multiplied to all the three terms. It'll be 3q to the power 6. So now it's going to be minus. Okay, all the terms will be minus because they are plus over here. So over here it'll be 3 times 2 is 6, q to the power 4. And lastly we have 9 plus 9 q squared. Now this entire thing is divided by what? Q to the power 3 minus 2 the whole square. Now this is fine. Leave this denominator as it is. Just simplify the numerator. How can we simplify it? You can see it's 4, all the same variables. Mark them up. Over here it is 4 minus 3, that is 1. Only q power 6 remains. 1 q power 6 is just q power 6. What about q power 4? We have 2. That is 4 minus 6. It will be minus 2 q power 4. What is q power 3? It is minus 8 q power 3. And what about this? Plus 9q squared. And lastly we have minus 8q divided by q minus 2 the whole square. Now please don't mind my q. My q is similar to a 9 itself, but I hope you understand that. So that must be the answer. If you are done in terms of x, it will be x to the power 6, x to the power 4 and everything. But at the end, just put it back to q because originally it was a q1. So you can see this. Let's just check our answer. Yes, it's okay. Now I have made a mistake. See this one, it should be minus, isn't it? Because all the terms will be minus. So this is minus. So this is also minus. So here it is minus, and over here as well, it must be minus itself. So that is the correct answer. So please do solve all these problems by yourselves and then check for the answers. Even over here, just the quotient rule, nothing else. The denominator, leave it as it is. But if you can simplify, then well and good. Over here, when you solve it, you can simplify it further and get to this form. If it is more than monomial, that is like if it's binomial or something, just leave the denominator as it is. Even over here, pretty simple problems. Now, what I would suggest over here is this one. Don't directly solve. See, here you can make this a bit simpler. How? Take w as common out. When you take w common out, what happens? It will be 1 plus w to the power 4 divided by w squared. Square cancel with this, and you're remaining with 1 plus w to the power 4 divided by w. Now solve it up. Denominator w squared and numerator simplify and everything. You're going to get this answer. So whenever you have an opportunity to simplify, do that so your derivation will be quicker and easier. Last problem in this topic is about a real world problem, and it's about Mahmoud and Muhammad are selling sweatshirts to raise money for a football team. Their weekly revenue is r of x. The revenue with respect to x is equal to 0.125x cubed and so on, where x is the cost of one sweatshirt. So if they sell one sweatshirt, this x will be 1, and that's the revenue earned. So what they ask is we have to just derive it. So what is the derivation of this? When you derive power rule, 3 comes down, it will be 0.375 x power 2, because you have to reduce the power by 1, minus 11 times 2 is 22.5 x. And then what do we have? We have only x, this dissolves and it will be only 250 remaining. So this is r dash of x. This is the derivation of this. Find the solutions of r dash of x is equal to 0. You just put in the calculator and solve it. Let's take our calculator. All you do is go to mode, phi, and let's press 3 for quadratic. Type in the coefficients. 0.375 is the first one, minus 22.5, and lastly we have 250. And here, what are the values? 45.27 and 14.72. Let's just look here. Yes, these are the answers. The first one, derivation, yes, that's the thing. Now the last one, what do the solutions you found in part B represent in terms of the given situation? Okay, now we should know some basic understanding of derivatives. What exactly is derivative? Derivative, definition wise, is the slope of the tangent line. So now if you have this particular equation, right, since it's x cubed, imagine it goes like this. So the derivation at any point will be the slope of the tangent line. So it just touches one point, the tangent, okay, wherever it's the tangent line slope. So if we have, say, minus 2, that's the slope. It tells us what is happening. It's going downwards. The graph is going downwards at a slope of 2, negative 2, that is. So here we basically found the equation for the slope of the tangent line, and when we made it equal to 0, what happened? When we make that slope line equal to 0, it basically is like a flat line, isn't it? So we found two flat lines. So it'll be either maximum or minimum. So when you solve these two, you will get the x value, which has to be either maximum or minimum. So what is the cost of sweatshirt? It's either 14.72 or 45.28. So which one? You basically just put it back in the calculator over here, put it in this equation and see. If you put 14.72, I'm not sure what's the answer, but if it's a big value, then that is the desired one. This one is too big. I think so you will get a negative value over here. Why? Because see, there is square and cube, and square is having negative sign. So 45 is a substantially large number, and squaring that would be a huge negative number. Whereas this one is reasonable, you might get positive over here. So one of that will be a maximum value. Let's see which one directly. Say the 14.72 represents the price Mahmoud and Muhammad should charge per sweatshirt to make the maximum possible revenue. The solution of 45.28 is not relevant because the revenue is 0 when x is 40. I think so. After 40 onwards, it's less than 0, so this will become a negative number. Whereas 1.72 is the price that must be charged. If you put over here 14.72, you will get a bigger number compared to this. So that's what it is, and that's the end of this question. I hope you have found it helpful. If you have any doubts, post them in the comments, and if you see any other comments, and if any other student asks doubts, if you know the answers, please do respond to those comments and tell your friends what the answers are. Question 19 is on techniques of integration. Here you have been given questions, and sometimes you have been given what is the u value. All the problems are u substitution, but some of the times u is not given, you need to assume it. So whenever u is given, it's so simple and so easy. Now this is the given question, right? Let me write it out over here. It's x squared square root of x to the power 3 plus 2, and dx is very important because you're integrating with respect to x. Now what is u? If you consider u to be x cubed plus 2, so this is given to us. Otherwise as well, generally see square root, whatever is the term inside the square root, we take it as u. And now what we do is derive this. Derivation is, it's not integration, derivation, differentiation. So with respect to what? Du by dx, because it's x over here, right? So then when we derive this, it will be 3x power 2 and it's 0. Now x is the variable, but let us rearrange this. Why now? Let's look over here. You have assumed u, so this part will become u. Leave this variable. But what is this dx? If you have u, you can't have dx. It must be du. So just to understand that better, now say for example you have x squared dx. The answer is integral will be x cube by 3 plus c. What about this integral of u squared? It can't be dx, it must be du, then it will be u cubed by 3 plus 3c. Same way, if you have any variable, you can take m square, it will be then dm, it must be in terms of dm, then you will have m cubed by 3 plus c. Same way over here, now you're changing this to u, isn't it? So your question is going to be x squared square root u. And now this has to be changed as well, that dx will be changed. So we will rearrange this, du divided by, just cross multiply, 3x squared is equal to dx. So I know u is so much, I substituted, now dx also substituted. Dx is equal to du divided by 3x squared. So I finished substituting this and this. Why do we substitute dx? Here this cancels off. Now you get everything in terms of u and numbers. Constants are fine. We can remove it out of the integral. 1 by 3 outside. What is u root? Root of u. It is u power half, isn't it? This is it. Now just use the power rule. 1/3 multiplied by u half plus 1. You need to add it by 1. Half 0.5 will be 1.5 or 3 by 2 by again 3 by 2 here into plus c. Now you can simplify this. Now here you can just, if you're getting confused with the factors and everything, just put this in the calculator. 1 by 3 multiplied by, instead of u and stuff, put 1 divided by 3 by 2. Let me just show it to you. Here I will just type this fraction 1/3. That's an easy one. Multiply it with, what is up over here? Numerator is some variable. Now let me just write it as 1 itself. It's fine. But here now there is again a fraction. So divided by 3 by 2. Now what is the answer we obtain? It's 2 by 9. So the final answer must be 2 by 9. Other way to understand is, this is the denominator. Now the first denominator remains over here. Again this one goes up. So it will be 2 by 3 times 3 u 3 by 2 plus c. What is 2 times 2 by 3 by 3? It's 2 by 9. That's what we got in the calculator as well. It's almost done. We're nearly there, but it's still not over. See, this 2 by 9, it's fine. What is this u which we initially substituted? U is x to the power 3 plus 2 the whole power 3 by 2. This is important. This plus c. This is your final answer. You need to substitute whatever you assumed initially. So that would be your answer. Let's just look into the answer. Here we have, yes, 2. Okay, I just realized the error over here. See, this much is correct. 2 by 3 u, 3 by 2 plus c. Here, wherever u is there, you need to substitute it, and this is not there. Okay, this power is for this. I apologize for this particular error in this solution set, but it's just that you need to substitute whatever was u. U is x cube plus 3, and it is whole power 3 by 2, like how I've written over here initially. So you can see this is the final answer. Similarly, do the other problems. Here also, they have given you what is u. So just take u as that much, derive it, and rearrange and substitute and solve. Let me just do this as well because there is negative power. Let me clear this first. What you need to do is write what is assumed to be u, x power 4 plus 1. So du by dx would be 4x cubed plus, sorry, that's it, plus 0 it is. And now du by 4x cubed would be equal to dx. So now instead of this given question, what can be substituted over here? It is u power 2/3 minus 2/3. This x cube remains. Dx can be written as du by u. Sorry, this is not u. Sorry for my bad handwriting. It is 4. Okay, this is 4x cube. Now this x cube cancels. 4 is a constant, so I'll remove 1 by 4th outside, and it's u negative 2 by 3rds du. And now what we can do is, we have to integrate this part only. The constant outside, integrated, it will be u negative 2/3 plus 1 will be 1/3, positive 1/3, divided by 1/3 over here, du. You can, sorry, not du, it's done. When you finish integration, you cannot put this back. I have applied the integration. You just add plus c here. So please remember that. And now here you can put this in the calculator, or this goes up, it will be 3/4 u to the power 1/3, or you can write cube root as well, plus c. It's not over. Substitute what was initially assumed to be u. It was x to the power 4 plus 1, the whole 1/3 plus c, and that's it. That will be the final answer. We will see it. Yes, that's it. Now, this is in writing, so it's fine, but if it was an MCQ, you may not get the answer like this. Sometimes it will be given like this. Cube root x power 4 plus 1 plus c, and this is also the correct answer itself. These both are same. You can write 1/3 or cube root. If it was 1/2, you could have just written square root. So please remember that. And this is how easily we can solve them up. Now here there is u as well. These are pretty straightforward. Let me do a problem where u is not there. See, the worked out solutions are there. Here also, don't worry, it's pretty simple because sine and cosine, right? Even you can take cosine as u. It's fine because it doesn't make much difference. Easily this will be cancelled and you can solve it up. These are very easy to solve. But now here also, we just now did similar one. This to be assumed as u and solve it up. Let me do this over here. So what do you have inside the square root? It's 1 plus 10x, right? Now whatever is inside the square root, we generally take it as u. Okay, it depends on the other variables as well, but most probably this will be considered as u in such circumstances. So u is 1 plus 10x. What is du? Du by dx, it will be, this is gone, it's only 10. So now du by 10 is basically dx. So now I'll rearrange this. This becomes integral square root u times du by 10. This 1/10 is outside. And what is the integration of root u? It'll be 3 by 2 plus c. And over here also divided by 3 by 2. Now this goes up, it'll be 2 by 10 times 3 to 1 time 5 times, so it's 1 by 15, the fraction. Here it is u 3 by 2, sorry, plus c. Now what is u initially assumed as? It's 1 plus 10 x 3 by 2 plus c. Now this is the answer, and that's the final answer. So this is how we solve it up. Here as well, what do you assume as u? You should take cosine, because it's in the square root. Let's do this. So what will be du by dx? It's gonna be, cosine derivative is minus sine x, and we need dx, so it will be du by negative sine x, that is equal to dx. So now let's substitute over here, integral sine x by square root u into du by minus sine x, and this cancels. We will have negative sign outside, and it's basically, what is this? It's a root u, right, in the denominator, that is u to the power half. When we bring it up to the numerator, it will be u to the power negative half du. Use the power rule, it's gonna be minus outside. Now integral is gone because you're using integration formula. It'll be positive half plus c. I just realized that I forgot to write something. Power rule, this power is divided, right? So now when we bring this up, it's going to be negative 2 u to the power half plus c, or you can write it as minus 2 into cosine x to the power half plus c. This can be written also as square root, but I'll leave it over there. This much is more than enough. See, over here they have written as square root, that's also fine. Or you can write power half, same. Now here, okay, you can see it over here. Just assume u to be the higher power. You can see sine is cubed, right? This is just single. So take u as sine. Why? Because then the derivation of sine would be cos, and that cancels off over here because it'll be the denominator, right? So you just have to know which assumption you will take. Don't take sine cube. You should just take sine x. That will be u to the power 3. See, integral u to the power 3, because this cancels off. And then when you solve it up, you get this. Very simple. Please solve these by yourselves. And here as well, they are pretty straightforward. But now let's do this one over here. Look, you have t squared cos t cubed. When I look at this, I realize if it was cos u, I know the formula and identity to solve it. But over here also, yes, now this is specifically for this. You can do chain rule, but it'll be making it much easier with this to be changed. Now what you do is u as 2 to the power t to the power 3. So du by dx would, now it's not dx, it's related to dt. So du by dt will be 3t square. And what will be du by 3t square? It will be dt. So now I know all the substitutions over here. T squared, let it be cos u into du by 3t squared. Now t squared cancels. You're remaining with 1 by 3 integral cos u du. Integrate this. It's going to be 1 by 3 sine u plus c. Now just substitute back. Sine u was supposed to be t cube. This is the answer. Once you get the idea of this, this is pretty simple, you know. So that's the final answer. Now what about this one? Now here, looking at it, don't think, okay, I'll just take cos as u. If you take cos t as u, it's going to be complicated. It'll be u plus 3 and then, you know, complications arise. Don't do that. What you need to do is take this entire thing, whatever is inside power 3 by 4, right, as u. So u is cos t plus 3. So du by dt will be sine t only. Now du by sine t would be dt. Now you can substitute dt as du by sine t, and what is already there? Sine t is there, and instead of this you write u 3/4 power. This cancels off. You're integrating u 3/4 with du. Just use the power rule. It'll be add 1. It is going to be 3 plus 4, 7 by 4 du. It is 1.75 basically. Sorry, you should not write this du. You should divide this by 7 by 4 plus c. Okay, this is 4. Now what you do is just rearrange and write it. 4 by 7, u to the power 7 by 4 plus c. What is this u? So 4 by 7, u was assumed to be cos t plus 3, the whole power 4, 7 by 4 plus c. So that is the final answer. You can see it's, now where did I do wrong? I'm sorry, I forgot this minus y, because the derivation of cosine is not positive sine, it's minus sine. I was just carried away. So here the sign would be minus, the minus sign would always be there over here as at the final answer. So that would be the answer. It's minus 4 by 7 cos t plus 3, 7 to the power 7 by 4 plus c. Similarly, do these problems. I'm going to do one over here. Why? Because it's in terms of exponentials. Now see, in integrals you don't have product rule. In derivatives you have uv, right? But in integrals we don't have this. So that's why we do other techniques to integrate it. Now here you just assume this as u, very simple. Now what do you do over here is e to the power u. So take u as x squared plus 1. So du would be 2x only, du by dx. So basically dx is equal to du by 2x. So what happens here? Integral x dx will be du by 2x. X and x cancels. You're just remaining with half e to the power u du. This is integrated. What is the integration of this? It's the same thing, right? It's e to the power u plus c. Now what was u initially substituted as? It's x squared plus 1 plus c. That is the final answer. So here we have half e to the power x squared plus c. Now here what was assumed to be u? I just told e to the power x plus 4, and then it's the same method. Once you get the u properly assumed, that's done. And how do you assume u? It depends. If it's inside the square root, take everything inside the square root, so you can easily solve it up. It'll be root u. And over here, if it's e to the power some complicated term, just take that. Even if it was a root x, don't take x as u, take root x as a u. What I mean is, if it was e to the power root x, take u as root x and then solve it up. Okay, so this is how we solve these problems. Oh, we just talked about it. I didn't know there was e to the power root x. Anyways, so you can see that root x to be taken as u. And what is the derivative of root x? It's 1 by 2 root x dx. And then you substitute everything back in this equation. Dx is du multiply. Okay, let me just do this over here. U is equal to root x. Du by dx is equal to, you can remember the formula, it's power half, half comes down, so it's going to be 1 by 2 x to the power minus half. You bring it down, it will be this. Okay, now we don't want this, we need dx, so du multiplied with 2 root x is equal to dx. Now then substitute everything back. It'll be integral e to the power u, because root x is u, and don't put over here as u. You can, if you take this as u, then over here root x must be considered as u. So wherever e is there, just take it as u. For this now, leave it like that, because we're substituting what is dx, right? It is 2 root x du, and this cancels off. You have 2 e to the power u du. What is the integral? It's 2 e to the power u plus c. Now instead of e to the power u, put the value of u, that was root x plus c. So that's the answer. So that's the last problem. They're all simple problems, but the more you practice u substitution, then you can easily assume what is u, what will be dx, and then solve it out. We move on to the last question of the writing part in the EoT term 3. This is on evaluating limits algebraically. Here you have a question where you need to evaluate the limit of this function as x tends to infinity. What does this mean? Now, limits is a very effective way to understand what happens to the function. Now, say for example you have this one. You can start putting the value of x is equal to 1 and find an answer. X is equal to 2, x is equal to 3, and you can go on till infinity, right? X is equal to infinity. So what does this tell? This tells you the end behavior. If you graph this, now imagine there's a random graph. The end behavior is something, it flattens out. That means that limit over here, as it goes to infinity, imagine this is 10, that is the limit answer. So what happens at the end? If it goes towards infinity, then the answer would be infinity. It just keeps on increasing, right? There's no limit, it's infinity. And if it goes downwards, you would get negative infinity, or say it flattens out after a certain point at -5, then that would be the limit. Now you can use your calculators to easily find this out, but since it's in the writing part, let's see how to solve it up. All you do is, see over here, there are different methods, but the easiest I personally feel is, see the degrees of x. What is the degree over here? Highest degree is x to the power 1. So divide each term by that. So we limit as x tends to or approaches, that's the same thing. Tends to means going towards, or approaches is also the same thing, to infinity. 4x plus 5 is there, right? Divide this by the highest degree over here is x, this also by x, and the denominator is the same thing, -3 divided by x divided by x. Now simplify, what is the answers? We have 4 over here because x and x cancels here also, plus 5 by x divided by, what do I have in the denominator? It's 8 and -3 by 6. Now here you must remember a rule. Limit as x tends to infinity, what is the, for 1 by x, what is the answer? It's 0. Now I'll show you how this is. Let's take our calculators. Now what is, say, a number 1 divided by 50? It is some small number, 0.02, right? But let me make this big. I'll take it like 50,000 now. It's even smaller. If I make this, say, million or billions, it's even small. It has got 11 zeros, 10 zeros, and then 2. Now if I increase this, say this to a huge number, 999 to the power 999, this is a huge number in the denominator. Okay, you got an error over here, but Okay, how about this? Still an error because it's too huge. How about this? No error. Okay, how about this? So basically, we are approaching zero. That's what you can see here. It's becoming smaller and smaller. The number is so tiny that it approaches zero. So this is the rule. As x tends to infinity, where x is below, down below 1 by infinity, it's zero. It's kind of like, if you remember, what is 1 divided by 0? It's undefined, right? You can't define it. But it basically is a huge number. It corresponds, okay, that's not infinity, it corresponds towards infinity. That's the thing. So 1 divided by 0 is corresponding infinity. 1 by x would be 0, but based on the limits. So here now, what we do is, we use this rule. Okay, I shouldn't have erased that. This rule. Now we can easily eliminate this and this because they are 0 and 0. So you're remaining with 4 by 8. It'll be 1 by 2. The limit is half or 0.5. So that is how we solve it. Easy, isn't it? Now I did not write away it's 4 plus 0 because anything divided by 0 doesn't matter the constant. It is 0, right? Because 5 times 0 is 0. So directly eliminated. So this is how we solve it up. Divide all by x's, and then over here, see, this is the actual step. What they do is, because you do directly, it's, force of habit, but technically how it is done, after this step, your limit is multiplied to each terms. Okay, the limit is multiplied. So it becomes limit x tends to infinity of 4 plus limit, over here constants are written outside, limit as x tends to 1 by x tends to infinity 1 by 0 1 by x, sorry, this is 1 by x, and everything you write. Limit of any constant is the constant itself. This limit as x tends to infinity for 4 is 4. Here this is 0, so 5 times 0 is 0. So that's what happens, and the denominator also likewise, and this is what you get. Half is the answer. And you can check it with graphing as well. If you graph this up, you're gonna get half. See, this is going towards infinity towards half, so y is half over there. And similarly, you can do this problem. I'll do this quickly. Why? Because over here we have different degrees. Now see what is the highest degree, and it's minus infinity. Okay, so what is the highest degree here? It's power 3, right? So individually divide each term by x power 3 minus x by x power 3 divided by 3x cubed by x power 3 plus 1 by x power 3. And now we can simplify. This closes, this cancels with this, 2 is gone, you're remaining only with 1 power 2. Over here what happens is this and this goes off, and you're remaining with so much. So now let's simplify them and write the limit. Don't forget the limit as x tends to minus infinity. Now 6 by x minus 1 by x squared here divided by 3 plus 1 by x cubed. Now we will apply the limit. We can apply the limit individually to each term. Now here you might think, okay, the limit is minus infinity, right? X tends to minus infinity. So will it change? Will this formula change? No, because 0 is neutral. If it's plus infinity, minus infinity, it doesn't make a difference because 0 is 0 itself. It is plus or minus, it's neutral, right? Neutral to any sign. So therefore, what we can do is we can, sort out the constants. I'll write it out over here. It'll be limit x tends to minus infinity. Since it's in writing, you have to write in detail. Otherwise, directly from calculator, you get the answers. So the constant is removed out. It's 1 by x minus over here limit as x tends to minus infinity. And over here we have 1 by x squared divided by limit as x tends to minus infinity again. Here we have 3 plus limit as x tends to minus infinity 1 by x cubed. So this is the thing. And now what you do is you substitute everything over here and you get all these zeros, right? So what happens here? It will be 6 times 0 because 1 by infinity is 0. Now even if it's 1 by infinity square, like x squared, that's also 0 only. minus 0 divided by, over here we have only 3 plus 0. So what happens is it becomes 0 minus 0 but divided by 3. The answer is 0. So this is the final answer. Don't think it's infinity because we have a number in the denominator. It's 0 divided by 3 will be 0. That's it. So that's the answer. Similarly, you can try the other problems. This is also the same thing. Divide by the highest degree. Remember, what is the highest degree here? It's power 4. So when you divide each term by power 4, you're going to, over here, let me just show you. This is going to be 5 by 5x power 4 divided by x power 4, and over here we will have 9x cubed by x power 4 plus 2x by x power 4. And so what happens is it'll be 5 divided by 9 by x plus 2 by 2 by x cubed. So this is what happens, and then you apply the limit and you can solve it up. So over here it's just 5, and over here you have 1 by x. The 9 is out, so it's 1 by x, and 2 is out, 1 by x cubed. Yes, that's the answers. And here you get 5 by 0. Now look over here, 5 by 0. This means the answer is infinity. You will get undefined answer, right? Because the answer is approaching towards infinity. 5 by 0 is going towards infinity, right? That is the thing. The answer would be infinity here. So let us look into the EoT problems. The question number 47. It's a real world problem. A gel capsule contains a sponge animal. When the capsule is submerged in water, it immediately dissolves, allowing the sponge to absorb water and quickly grows in size. Okay, the length L in millimeters of the sponge animal after being submerged in water for t seconds can be defined over here. This length is with respect to time. The length is increasing based on time. Now, this sponge can absorb a certain amount of water, and then once it's completely saturated in the sense completely filled with water, it will not increase its length. So you might have seen some sponge, drop it in the water, it might increase the length because of the water absorption, but it has a certain limit. So now that is what we need to find over here. What is the length of the capsule before it is submerged in water? So the length over here before submerging in water means what? The time is 0, right? So substitute everywhere over here time 0 and solve. You don't even need to use a calculator. Before being submerged means, see, when you start submerging, time starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on seconds, right? But before it's submerged, t is 0. So over here this becomes 0, 0 substrate over here. So what is the answer? This entire thing is 0 plus 25. So the length is 25 units. So the first answer must be just 25. It's given in mm, is it? I couldn't see. Yes, it's in millimeter, so it's mm. If it's not mentioned anything, then you can write in units. But since it's clearly mentioned the length in millimeters, so we write millimeters or mm. What is the limit of this function as x tends to infinity? That means over here, just now what we did, we are going to do it again. So I'll just divide only this left side. I'm going to divide by t squared. Okay, so it will be 105 divided by t squared and multiply. This will be just 105. Over here it will be 10 divided by t squared plus 1. Now when you apply the limit as x tends to positive infinity, right, and this is plus 25, both the sides you need to apply. Here this part becomes 0. Okay, you need to write limit everywhere, and this is 105, so it will be 105 plus 25, that is 130 mm. Basically you have to write the limit over here, here, this becomes 0, and then the answer is 105 plus 25, because limit of any constant is just the constant value, and the answer is 130. So 130 mm. Explain how the limit of this function relates to the length of the sponge animal. So what it is this length as time extends to infinity is the maximum capacity that the sponge can hold. The water can be held by the sponge. It cannot be more than that particular length. In its completely saturated state, that is the maximum length. Okay, I just told in detail what it is, but they have just told in simple words. The sponge animal will not grow longer than that particular length. Obviously, because that's the maximum length it can grow. Okay. Over here, another similar problem. Suppose the weight W in kilograms for a kitten D after birth can be estimated over here. What is the weight of the kitten at birth? So there's a small kitten and it's just being born. What is the weight? Weight is given with respect to the days, the time of year in terms of days is given. So at birth, how much is the days? It's 0, right? So I've just put this as 0. Okay, the limit over here, just substitute this as 0, put it in the calculator, you will get the answer. So now what happens is when you put this 0, this entire thing becomes 1 because anything raised to the power 0 is 1. So it'll be 25 divided by 2 plus 98 times 1 is 98. It'll be 25 by 100, that is 1/4. So this is in kilograms, is it? Whatever the unit is, it'll be, yeah, it's in kilograms over here that I mentioned. It's 1/4 kilogram or 0.25 kg. Now, how much will the kitten eventually weigh? That is the weight as d tends to infinity. So what happens is in cats or dogs, generally after they grow for a particular size, their weight remains constant. I mean, here and there some grams might vary, but the maximum weight of each breed of species is found out, right? So just put over here infinity. So you can just check it in the calculator. I'll just do this in the calculator now. Here, just type this question. 25 divided by 2 plus 98 times the 0.85 to the power. Over here, infinity, we don't have infinity. Just put a big number, okay? So the answer is how much? It is 12.5 kgs. So that's it. You can write it in detail, like just substituting, because as infinity means it will be a big number. Take the limit. This is the answer. And these are different type of sequences. Now these are also pretty straightforward problems, but over here the extra part is write the first 5 terms of each sequence, then find the limit of the sequence if it exists. So what you need to do is first put n as 1 and solve. See, now here the limits of the terms are found out. You put a as 1 everywhere. Wherever n is, they put 1, solve it up. 2, solve it up. First 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What are the values? You get 0.667, 1.125. You can see it's increasing until 1.6 we got. Now they want the limit. So put infinity. Now infinity, just now we did, right? The same thing, we do it over here. Because it's in writing, you have to do it. Otherwise, I'll show in calculator how to do. The better way to do this is type this out. Don't put any number. Don't put 999 for n or anything. Just type it as a variable x. Instead of n, we put x plus 1 divided by, over here also, x plus 5. Now what we do is we calculate it. This calc symbol is there, right? Press calculate. And what value you want to calculate. So if you want to find these terms, you just put it at 1. It is 2/3 or 0.667. See? Now calculate it at 2 and you get 1. That is the term. Calculate it at say 5. You should get how much? 1.6. So now I will calculate it for infinity. Infinity means a big number, some 9s. How much is the value? See, it's corresponding towards 3. Now, in the calculator, we won't get the exact value. You get it if you put a lot of numbers, 9s. Now we got it at 3. But generally, if you get 2.999, approximate it towards 3. So this is the answer. But if you use the formula and solve it, yes, you'll directly get 3 itself. Okay, using the rule. See over here, this becomes 0, 0. So you're remaining with 3 divided by 1. So answer is 3. The sequence over here, eventually if you keep on finding a lot of numbers, it converges towards 3. The number 3, that's where it goes. And over here, if we graph it, we can get this as well. See, it goes almost towards, it's not exactly touching 3, but it eventually will go towards 3. That's what it means. Here another problem, same concept, okay? So over here, find few terms. Now over here, what you do, you have to divide by the highest degree. So that is, over here, before you divide, what you can do is, you can simplify how much you can. In the sense, you can use this power. What is this power rule? N plus 1 the whole square is a squared plus b squared plus 2ab, right? N squared plus 2 times n into 1 is same, plus 1. Split it out. Over here, it will be n squared times n squared plus 2n plus 1. divided by 4, and you have phi divided by n to the power 4, right? Let's multiply this inside and this also inside over here. So phi n multiplied will be phi n to the power 4 plus 10n cubed plus phi n squared divided by 4n to the power 4. So this is the simplification we got. Now then we know what to do, which is the highest degree, power 4. Divide everything by n power 4 and then simplify and put the limits and solve it up. The answer would be 125. But if you do this directly in the calculator, you get this answer itself. That's the answers. Now, the stable method cannot be done in the calculated table. If you're thinking mode 7, no, it doesn't work because look at the jump of the values 10, 100, 1000. That's not going to work in the calculator. If you try, it'll show you insufficient data or you just can't get these sort of values. But there's a way easily to find it out. That would be, I'll just show you now. I've typed the given equation over here as it is, like with alpha x, okay? It's in mode 1 only, computation mode. Now, calc and try different values. I'll try at 10. What's the value I'm getting? It's 1.51. Now change calc at 100. And you can see it's going 1.27. So let's change it to say 10,000 and you're getting 1.25. And you can see as I increase the values, say I'll just increase a lot, it'll be corresponding towards 1.25. Now if I increase it too much, say like a lot and lot of values, it'll be 5 by 4. Why? Because 5 by 4 is 1.25. But checking is not that needed because if you just solve it like how we've done over here, that's more than enough. Okay, as long as you've got the correct answer. And check it using your calculator, you can easily understand whether it's correct or wrong. Now over here, it's the same thing. Please solve just like what we have done. Put A1, A2, A3, 5 values, and then use the limit. Over here, you need to divide by power 3 everywhere and solve it up. Let me do one problem here. This is only looking complicated. First, you need to find A1, that is 1 cubed minus 2 by 1 squared. Find the answer. Then A2, A3, A4, and A5. So in the exam, do substitutions for 1 or 2. This is 2 cubed minus 2 by 2 squared. And then you can rest, directly write the answers. Okay. So next thing would be limit. Limit as x tends to infinity for n cubed minus 2 divided by n squared. What would be the answer? First, you need to divide throughout by the highest degree. It will be n cubed divided by n cubed minus 2 by n cubed divided by n squared by n cubed. This is n cubed. And now what you have to do is simplify this. The limit remains as x tends to infinity. Over here also limit as x tends to infinity remains. Solve it up. It's going to be 1 minus 2 by n cubed divided by, over here it's just 1 by n. So when the limit over here, now you need to multiply this. Exactly, I'll just show it. This one problem. So you need to write this as 1 minus 2 can be written outside. Limit 2 is a constant. Even over here 1 can be written out or inside, it's fine. But since it's only 1, we write it inside. But if there is 2x, you write x after the limit. 2 is a constant, so you take it out. So x tends to infinity. Over here you write 1 by n cubed. I'm so sorry, this is not x, it's n, okay? Why? Because the variable is n. You can change it to x, it's fine, doesn't matter. And what is divided by? Limit as x tends to infinity, it is 1 by n. Now what happens is over here the answer is 1, here the answer is 0, it'll be 2 times 0. And now here 1 divided by 0, what is that? It's infinity, right? Because anything divided by 0 is infinity. So the answer, the final answer must be infinity over here. And these terms, how do you find out? You find out in the calculator. It'll be 1 minus 2. Let me just solve this one over here. 1 minus 2 by 1, it is negative 1. So then over here it'll be 2 cubed, that is 8 minus 2, it's 6 by 4, it's 1.5, and so on. You can find the other terms. You can just put this in the calculator directly and calculate at different values like 1, 2, 3. There's a calc option, you do it in that. And the answer over here was infinity, yes. And the other answers are over here. Please do solve all of them by yourselves. I will show you how to check the answers in calculator here. Let's do it. First, type the given equation as it is. 8n squared, that n is in terms of x over here, plus 5 variable plus 2 divided by 3 plus 2n. All right. Calculate for the first sequences, right? Calculate this at 1. This is your first term. Calculate at 2, that's the second term, that is 6.28 and 6.29. Calculate at third, this is the answer. Same way, calculate 5 terms because they have asked, no, they have not asked, but in the example problem, they asked for 5 terms. And lastly, over here. But the limit means it's going towards infinity. So calculate at 99999, a huge number, and that is the limit. Over here, you can see what's happening. If you change the values of 9, it's just a huge number, right? Now it's a small number. If I increase this, it is just a huge number. So what is it? 10 to the power 14. It's billion and millions, you know. So this means it's an infinity. It's going towards infinity. So the answer is over here, infinity. If it was minus over here, it will be minus infinity. So that's it. Over here, if you had solved it, you would just get 2 or 1.9999. And if you increase the number, calculate at a huge number, say a lot of nines, you would get just 2 for this problem. You can try it. But over here, since we are getting a huge number, it's varying, it's infinity. Same way, these are the problems. Please do them all and try to at least see how it is checked by the calculator. But if you understood one problem, then it's almost the same. If you're thinking how to solve this one over here, first is simplify this, multiply them, get it sorted out, take this over here 12 inside, and after that you'll get only one huge term like a polynomial in the numerator and in the denominator. Then see the highest degree and divide throughout by that degree and solve it out. We have a real world problem, and this is the last problem in the entire writing part. It is about population. After being ranked one of the best cities in which to live by a national publication, Northfield Heights experienced a rise in population that could be modeled by this particular equation, where P is the total rise in population in thousands and T is the number of years after 2006. So here the equation is given. You need to complete this table. The population for 2007 to 2009. So here they have clearly mentioned it's after 2006. Let's take our calculators. So here what you need to do is put this equation in. So 2007 would mean 1 because after 2006, 1 year, right? Calculate at 1. The answer is, so it's 0.397, but it's in thousands. So multiply this by 1000. It'll be 398, okay, people. And then say for year 2, calculate at 2. Here it is, there's 2430, you can say. And then lastly for the third year, oh, I just removed it. So let me just type it back again. Here we have it, and then calculate it at 3. The answer is 5000 and so on. So that is the first answer. You can see here, that's the table, 5550, because we have to multiply this by 1000, right? That will be 5550. And now what is the next one? What was the total rise by 2011? We know this is from 2006, right? 11 minus 6 is 5. So calculated at 5, the rise was 9,576, about 9,576 people. What is the limit of the population growth? Limit means take a huge number, calculate a huge number. So it's 12,000. 12 means it's in thousands. So 12,000 is the maximum population that can be accommodated in that particular city. Why? Explain why the city population growth may have a limit. Let's see, there are various reasons, right? Because a city can hold only a certain number of people. So the equation over here will generally be based on those factors. So when you find these equations, right, how generally they make it is they take a lot of factors into consideration. the environment, the growth, the economy, the school, the infrastructure, everything, and then they do these equations. So they are more practical equations. And therefore, there are lots of constraining factors which will restrict the population. And over here we have a city's border may limit the amount of possible growth and building opportunities. Yeah, this is also fine. But it's about analyzing. You can write your own answers over here when it's about explain. So write practically what you feel is the best answer. And that is the end of all the problems in the writing part. I hope you're finding my videos helpful. And I just want to first of all, thank all the students who, share my videos, who like and subscribe to my channel. It means so much to me. It is over 7,000 subscribers, and I'm really, really humbled by your support and love. Thank you very much for that. And I kindly request, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe. It would mean so much to me. And do share my videos with your friends who might find them helpful. That would be a great help you can do to me. Thank you guys, and I wish you all the best. And please do stay tuned. I will try to do the part 1 as soon as possible. Bye bye for now.